The main event breakdown here for Bellator 273, it's going to be Ryan Bader taking on Valentin Moldavsky. Pretty good fight here. It's going to be for the Bellator heavyweight title. It's 1 week after the UFC had their title fight, and it's going to be the same kind of thing where they're having a interim champion fight the other champion for the undisputed belt here. So we got Ryan Bader, who has been like the longtime champion in Bellator. He's going to be taking on Valentin Moldavsky. Right before we get started with the video here, I just want to say, drop a like, put a comment down below who you think is going to win in this fight. I am going to be giving you a pick and a bet here. And if you want to get some, more bets, if you want to get the video on the rest of the card for Bellator 273, I break down every single fight. Check out the Patreon. If you want to see my Eagles FC 44 breakdown video, I'm going to be trying to put that on the channel here later on. I'm going to be putting either a full card or main card video on the channel. I'm going to try to do that later on today, so be on the lookout for that. But this is just going to be this one fight, the main event here. Right before I get started as well, I want to give a shout out to 3 people from last week. They're the winners of the free bet package for this week. I did comment back on the video, or on the comment that they did on my video last week. A couple of you guys haven't responded yet, so if you want to get my free bets for this week, I do have 9 bets already available now, and you want to get there as soon as you can, because the odds obviously are going to be changing constantly. And I will give you access to this Bellator 273 full card breakdown video as well. So that's Knockout, Janny Olivo, and Reese Watson. So either message me on Twitter, at predictionguru, or you could send me an email. My email is on my channel, or just respond on the comment. Tell me where to send you the winnings, the bets, and the video, and I'll send it over to you guys. But congratulations, Chew3, for predicting the fight of the night. It was Davidson Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno, and props to Janny Olivo, because he or she, I'm not 100% sure, but they predicted that Figueiredo was going to win, so that was a good pick there as well. But getting into this fight here now, we got Ryan Bader, Moldavsky. It's finally going to be an undisputed champion, because Bader hasn't fought for heavyweight for a long time. He won the belt in January of 2019. He had that 35-second knockout win over the GOAT, and that was Moldavsky's coach, Fedor Emelianenko. So Bader, since then, he's only fought one time at heavyweight, though. He fought Czech Congo. That was in September of 2019. And he didn't even get the win. It was a no contest, so he hasn't even won a fight at heavyweight since that fight against Fedor. Since then, he's had 3 fights at light heavyweight. He was the light heavyweight champion as well at that time, but lost the belt to Vadim Nemkov, decided to jump into that Bellator light heavyweight tournament, and he did win the first round. He took out Lyoto Machida, but man, in his next fight, he ran into a buzzsaw. Corey Anderson knocked him out in 51 seconds, and I don't know if light heavyweight is in the rear view for him for now, but at 38 years old, I do think it maybe is time to focus on the heavyweight division. They're not as fast or explosive usually at heavyweight, so he could probably out-wrestle most guys, and he does have the speed, the movement advantage more often at heavyweight. But Valentin Moldavsky, he's definitely going to provide resistance. He's actually almost a 3-1 favorite over Bader. He's the interim Bellator heavyweight champion right now. Defeated Tim Johnson. It took him 5 rounds to earn that strap in that fight, so obviously he showed he has good cardio. And he's a fighter who is 11-1 overall, trains at a Fedor team in Russia, and that's a team that's gotten a lot of looks at Bader at this point, because Fedor fought him, then Vadim Nemkov fought him, and now Moldavsky's fighting him. So this is the 3rd guy from Fedor team that's going to be fighting Ryan Bader. But Moldavsky, he's still young. He's only 29 years old. He's been in Bellator since 2017, and he's faced off with some decent guys in Ryzen. But you can't really match the level of competition of Ryan Bader. He hasn't faced too much high-end competition. Even in Bellator, he fought guys like Javi Ayala, he fought Roy Nelson, and I can't really put a lot of stock into those wins. He did beat Lennon Vassell, which is a good but not great win. And then Timothy Johnson, it's not necessarily a high-level win, but it's a pretty solid victory there. The best win of his career, I would say, happened in 2016, where he defeated Carl Albrechtsen. Albrechtsen is a light heavyweight, but Moldavsky was actually the smaller man in that fight. He weighed in 217 pounds. Albrechtsen came in at 231. So that was a solid win. Albrechtsen's a good fighter. But both Moldovsky and Bader are smaller heavyweights. Even though Bader has had a long career at light heavyweight, I think he probably, is the bigger fighter, pretty similar in size here. Looking at this bout, obviously Bader has a lot to prove. That's why he's such an underdog. He's 38 years old. He's been knocked out in 2 of his last 3 fights. He's moving back up to heavyweight. And I do feel like Bader will look better in this matchup. He's not had a lot of fights at heavyweight, but he's undefeated in the weight class. Moldovsky's a young guy. He's only 29, and he's been doing really well in the promotion. He's 6-0 in the organization. But Bader's definitely the best opponent that he's faced to date. And, Moldovsky, when you look at him skill-wise, he's a smaller heavyweight, like I said, so he's pretty mobile. Isn't the most dangerous striker, but he's effective. He has good combinations, fast hand speed. He likes to throw jab, leg kick combos, good 1-2s. He tries to time that pull right hands. And he likes to use that right cross to explode into the clinch. Pretty good at timing hooks. And, when he gets guys against the cage, that's when he will put some combos together. He'll try to hang on you, dirty box. And when he gets guys tired, that's where he either open up with the striking or the wrestling, whichever he feels he has the bigger advantage. And he can make fights boring. He can stick him with the jab, leg kicks, minimal offense. He can kind of clinch control you. And he has good fight IQ. He does what he has to do to get the win. His fight against Roy Nelson was pretty much Moldovsky on his bike, sticking the occasional jab. When Roy would try to close the gap, he would just clinch. And it was a dismal fight to watch, but pretty easy win for Moldovsky. Moldovsky does hold his hands pretty low, and he prefers to be a guy that's all the way in or all the way out. So in the pocket, he is fairly vulnerable. He floats his chin. Tim Johnson was able to touch him a little bit. He doesn't really throw many kicks, and I feel like he's not going to want to throw kicks because of the takedown threat of Bader here even more. And so I feel like the leg kicks are not going to come as often. And he's going to have to rely on his hands, his counters, his speed, being mobile, and his cardio here. And he likes to grapple, obviously. He uses mobility. He tries to pull guys into doubles. He'll try to, get in the clinch, hold him against the cage. And, I don't really see him being able to hit takedowns on Bader unless Bader really gasses or Moldovsky just times it perfectly. Moldovsky is not the highest level wrestler. I mean, if you see his loss to Amir Ali Akbari is as good as it gets for wrestling. He's a fighter with a checkered past for sure, but he won the gold medal at the 2010 World Championships in Moscow. And he would have gotten the chance to be in the 2012 Olympics, but failed a drug test. He got suspended, and then he did compete again in 2013. He won a gold medal at the World Wrestling Championships, and that was in Greco-Roman. It made him a 2-time world champion, but he failed again for steroids. He got stripped, and then he got banned for life from by the International Wrestling Federation. So he's no longer able to wrestle. But the bottom line is he's a world-class wrestler. And that's what he was able to use to defeat Moldovsky. Moldovsky didn't really have great defense on the single leg. And Ali Akbari, he wasn't really able to do much when he got the takedowns, but he held him down. And it was only a 2-round fight, so we didn't get to see Moldovsky's cardio come into play like it could in a 5-round fight. But another thing about that fight was that there was no elbows allowed, so that also muted some of the damage that potentially Ali Akbari could have done if it was a Bellator fight. But against Linton Vassell, which was a Bellator fight, he did get taken down. He got cut with a big elbow in the 2nd round. And it was a fairly competitive fight. If you contrast that with Ryan Bader versus Vassell, Bader was able to dominate Vassell in the grappling realm. If this fight becomes a grappling match, I do favor Bader. For a bigger guy, though, I will say Moldovsky has decent jiu-jitsu off his back. He has good half-guard sweeps. He could shut guys down. And he was able to sweep Linton Vassell a few times in their match. And on top, he doesn't really have the best top control. But he'll look to get the front headlock, snap guys down, get them tired, hang on them. And one thing Moldovsky has over Ryan Bader is he has more experience going in long fights at a higher weight. Bader has gone in some long fights. He's even gone... I believe 3 rounds. I don't know if he's ever gone 5 rounds at heavyweight, but I know for sure he went 3 against Matt Mitrione. And he just did go 5 rounds against Machida at 205 very effectively. So, but that, Moldovsky does have good cardio. He's a grinder. He could push a good pace. And, you saw his ability to push the pace in his fights with Lynn Vassell and Tim Johnson. He was able to dominate the third round against Lynn Vassell. He was out-grappled probably for the first 7.5 minutes or so of that fight, but once he got a sweep late in the second round, he tired him out, and then he quickly was able to get the takedown and control Vassell the whole third round. And then against Tim Johnson, the first 3 rounds were competitive, and then he closed out strong in the fourth and fifth, clearly took the fight. So that's something that Bader has to kind of be weary of. Know not to blow your gas tank early. You have to be able to kind of maintain and stay on the same par with a guy like Moldovsky. But Ryan Bader, is as experienced as it gets. He's an explosive, athletic heavyweight. He likes to pressure. He has good movement, good jab, good left hook. His left hook has taken a few fighters out recently, like at heavyweight especially. You saw him knock out King Mo really quickly with the left hook within the first minute. He knocked out Fedor Emelianenko really quickly with the left hook. He'll do the same thing with the left hook and the straight right hand, where he feints the level change, then he comes into the left hook, he comes into the straight or overhand right, and then he will switch it up in level change, so it makes him kind of hard to read, especially when he's at heavyweight and he's a lot faster. And he struggles against fighters that are good kickers. We've seen that, for instance, he got knocked out against Moldovsky with the high kick. We saw him lose to Machida back in the day. And, movement, sometimes he could be a little bit static. He could kind of be a little bit slow, especially at 205. He doesn't check leg kicks, and that's another thing that maybe could be a little bit of an issue for him. And sometimes he will kind of explode in, and he can't get caught. Sometimes he's willing to brawl as well, and he's just got it knocked out. But his speed and timing and just composure, distance control has definitely gotten better throughout his career. He's improved as a striker. And even though Bader does have a questionable chin, he's been knocked down in 2 of his last 5 fights. He doesn't really have to deal with the guy that's a big power hitter in Moldovsky. Moldovsky doesn't have a lot of finishes. And one thing that Ryan Bader has a big advantage here is in the grappling and the wrestling. He's a great wrestler. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He prefers to wrestle mostly. He doesn't use a lot of jiu-jitsu in MMA, but he has a really good blast double, really strong in the clinch, good clinch takedowns, good singles. We saw him use the single really well against Matt Mitrione, which is a good takedown to use against heavyweights, bigger guys. And Bader has really good top control, good ground and pound, good at lacing the legs, and then he likes to collect that far wrist, work from that wrestling ride position, and just pound guys out. And he's really good at mat returning guys, just making their lives miserable. He can wrestle for 3 or 5 rounds, always comes in good shape. He has to be extremely motivated here. A loss here would be really bad and really detrimental for his career. I mean, he's still not super old for heavyweight at 38, and theoretically he could have a lot of years left, especially when you look at that heavyweight division. If he could take out Moldovsky, there's not really a ton of guys there that I think Bader would have to worry too much about, at least currently. So, if he loses, though, that would take a lot of his leverage away. He would have lost his light heavyweight belt, lost his heavyweight belt, and be in a weird position in his career. But I think he's a live underdog here. I think the line is off. He has a big wrestling advantage. And at heavyweight, I feel he's a lot better in the stand-up. He's faster. He's more athletic than most of these big guys. Good left hook, good overhand right. And he may be able to land a clean shot on Moldovsky's chin because Moldovsky's defense isn't the best. I don't think that he has the biggest kicking game. And, Bader struggled with that in the past. I also don't think he has the biggest power. And I think, pressuring Bader, at least early, may be tough because Bader is going to be looking for the level changes, looking to turn into a wrestling match. The battle to me is going to be if he can keep the same pace and if Moldovsky can use his sweep game or jiu-jitsu to get on top or get back up to his feet to make Bader work to get him down and hold him down. But I think Bader definitely has a great chance to ride out this win, get a decision with his top control and his grappling. Bader is 13-0 in decisions, so if he makes it all 5 rounds, he's never lost before in that type of scenario. Moldovsky is 7-1 in decisions himself, but definitely not a finisher. Like you see there, 7 of his 11 wins have gone to decision, And that's good for Bader. Bader needs to wrestle. He needs to push the pace here. Can't stay at range and let Moldavsky get confidence, start to pick him apart with the combos, with his fast hands. I just think that Moldavsky is a little bit overrated. He backs up. He comes forward in straight lines. I think Bader's going to be able to pressure him to the fence, get takedowns, slow him down. Moldavsky is fairly elusive, but I don't think he can move or is as fast as guys that Bader has seen recently. Even like Machida. I'm a little bit worried about the chin of Bader, but man, I think it's a good spot, and I said I was going to give a free bet here, and the bet is going to be on the underdog. I'm going to go with the champ to retain his title and Ryan Bader here. That line is moving down because I got him at the plus 260 that you see there on Tapology currently, but now Bader is at a plus 220 favorite. So if you want to bet on him, I would try to get the bet in on him now because he is slowly moving down. But thanks for watching this Bellator 273 main event breakdown. I am going to go with Ryan Bader via decision. I think it'll be a fairly competitive fight, but I think Bader will be able to edge it out pretty clearly, and do have the bet on Bader. So yeah, guys, if you like this, put a like down below, put a comment. Do you agree with my pick? Are you going with Moldavsky? What other bets do you have on the Bellator card? And if you want to see my full card prediction video, if you want to get all my bets not only for Bellator 273, but for Eagle FC 44, for CFFC, for ACA, then make sure to check out the Patreon, and you'll get another bit of content there. But yeah, guys, once again, I appreciate it. Be back next week for the UFC. Be on the lookout for that Eagles FC video on the channel later on tonight. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.